You are not lazy. If you were, you would feel nothing. No guilt, no frustration, no constant voice in your head telling you to do better. But that is not your reality. You feel it every day. You feel the pressure of wasted time, the regret of not doing what you said you would do, and the silent fear that you are falling behind. So, here is the truth you need to hear. You are not lazy. You are just moving without direction, and that is why everything feels heavy. Every day, you wake up with a plan in your mind. You tell yourself you will be productive, you will focus, you will finally get your life together. But somehow, hours pass. You scroll, you delay, you avoid. At the end of the day, you feel guilty and call yourself lazy. But think about this honestly. When something actually matters to you, do you still feel lazy? Or do you suddenly find energy, focus, and effort without forcing yourself? The truth is simple and uncomfortable. The problem is not your laziness. The problem is that you do not know where you are going. You are not lazy, you are confused. You have been taught to blame yourself. Every time you do not take action, you say, "I am just lazy." It feels like an easy explanation. It gives you something to label your behavior with, something to point at when things do not go the way you planned. But that label is not helping you. It is hiding the real problem. Laziness is not something you are born with. It is not a fixed identity. It is a reaction. When your mind does not see a clear reason to move forward, it resists effort. It looks for comfort. It chooses distractions. And it keeps you in a loop that feels safe but unfulfilling. Think about the moments when you suddenly become focused. When you are excited about something. When you care deeply about an outcome. You do not need motivation. You do not argue with yourself. You just act. That version of you is not lazy. That version of you has direction. Now compare that to the times when you feel stuck. You sit there, knowing you should start, but you cannot. Not because you are weak, but because your mind is confused. It does not see a clear path, so it delays. It waits. It escapes into easier things. Imagine trying to run fast without knowing where the finish line is. You would slow down. You would hesitate. Eventually, you would stop. Not because you lack ability, but because there is no clear destination pulling you forward. That is exactly what is happening in your life right now. You are not refusing to move. You are standing still because you do not know where to go. Why your mind keeps escaping? The real problem is not your effort. It is your lack of clarity. Your mind is always asking one silent question before it does anything important. Why should I do this? If that answer is not clear, strong, and meaningful, your brain will not commit energy to it. It will choose the easiest option available. That is why you keep going back to your phone. That is why you keep choosing comfort over action. It is not because you are weak. It is because your brain is trying to protect your energy. Without a clear direction, effort feels pointless, and pointless effort feels painful. Look closely at your day. You are not actually resting. You are constantly switching between things. One minute you are scrolling, the next minute you are thinking about what you should be doing. Then you distract yourself again. Your mind never settles. It stays active, but not productive. This creates a dangerous cycle. You avoid important work because it feels unclear. Then you fill that time with easy distractions. At the end of the day, you feel tired without doing anything meaningful. That is when you call yourself lazy. But the truth is, your brain has been working all day, just without direction. There is also something deeper happening. When you do not know where your life is going, every task starts to feel disconnected. Studying feels pointless. Working feels forced. Even improving yourself feels empty. You start questioning everything, and that confusion slowly drains your energy. Now think about the opposite. When you have a clear goal, even difficult work feels different. You may still feel tired, but you feel driven. You wake up with intention. You know what matters and what does not. Decisions become easier because you have a direction guiding them. Right now, your problem is not that you cannot work hard. Your problem is that nothing is pulling you forward strongly enough. Without that pull, your mind will always choose comfort over effort. It is not a discipline issue. It is a clarity issue. And until you fix that, you will keep fighting yourself every single day, thinking the problem is you, when in reality, the problem is the part you cannot see. Clarity changes everything. The moment you gain clarity, everything starts to change. Not slowly, not magically, but clearly. You stop fighting yourself because your mind finally understands what matters. When you know where you are going, your actions begin to align without constant force. You do not need to fix your entire life in one day. You only need to answer one honest question. What am I actually moving towards right now? Not what sounds good, not what others expect, but what truly matters to you at this stage of your life. Clarity does not mean having a perfect plan. It means having a direction that feels real enough to act on. When that direction becomes clear, your brain stops resisting effort. It starts supporting it. Work feels purposeful instead of forced. Discipline feels natural instead of painful. Start small but be specific. Instead of saying you want to improve your life, decide one thing that matters. One goal, one focus, one path. When you narrow it down, your energy stops spreading everywhere. It starts moving in one direction. You will notice a shift in your behavior. You waste less time thinking about what to do because you already know. You hesitate less because your decisions become simple. You do not need constant motivation because your direction keeps pulling you forward. This is where most people get it wrong. They try to fix their laziness with more discipline, more pressure, more guilt. But none of that works if the direction is missing. You cannot force consistent action without a clear reason behind it. Once you give your mind a reason, everything becomes lighter. You still face challenges, but you no longer feel stuck. You are moving, and that movement itself creates momentum. You were never lazy. You were just waiting for a direction that made sense. Stop blaming yourself, start seeing clearly. At some point, you have to stop blaming yourself and start seeing the pattern clearly. You were never the problem. The way you have been approaching your life is. You kept trying to force action without understanding why you should act in the first place. The truth is simple. Your energy follows meaning. When something matters, you show up. When it does not, you disappear into distractions. This is not weakness. This is how your mind works. So, the real shift is not about becoming more disciplined. It is about becoming more aware. Aware of what actually matters to you. Aware of where your time is going. Aware of the fact that you have been calling yourself lazy for something that was never laziness. Once you see this clearly, you stop fighting yourself. You stop using guilt as a tool. You stop expecting sudden change without direction. Instead, you start making intentional choices. You choose where your focus goes. You choose what deserves your effort. And slowly, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself again. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally moving with purpose. Even small steps start to feel meaningful because they are connected to something real. You no longer need constant reminders or pressure from outside, because your direction itself starts guiding you. You also stop comparing your pace with others. You realize that running fast in the wrong direction is still a loss. What matters is moving with clarity, even if it feels slow at the beginning. That patience builds something stronger than motivation. It builds consistency that lasts. There will still be days when you feel distracted or low on energy. But now, those days do not define you. You understand yourself better. You know how to come back, because you know where you are going. This is the realization that changes everything. You do not need to become a different person. You just need to stop living without direction. Because the moment you know where you are going, you stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling lost. And most importantly, you stop calling yourself lazy. Maybe you were never lazy. Maybe you were just trying to move without a clear path, blaming yourself for something you did not understand. Now you see it differently. You do not need more pressure. You need direction. And once you find that, everything begins to change in a way that actually lasts. If this video helped you improve your communication, make sure to like the video. Share this video with someone who wants to become more confident in conversations. Subscribe to the channel for more practical skills that improve your confidence and communication. Comment below with one phrase you will stop using after watching this video. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next video as we upload. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.